electronic state of the art and why it is time to develop mobile apps. As a fashion tech designer, Esther has been developing electronic textiles since 2012 and reports on her developments and the problems involved in bringing together two areas as diverse as technology and society. Let's give her a warm welcome on stage.
Hello, my name is Esther. It's the first time I've been in India, and I'm really thankful to be invited to this fair. So today I want to talk about my work as a fashion tech designer. In 2012, I started to develop interactive textiles, and I start with the idea to develop a kids collection with interactive textiles to make textiles more as a toy to use it for kids to develop the world. I've done a huge collection of, is it playing? Yeah. Of kids textiles with different special materials, and yeah. Here you can see the development of glow-in-the-dark textiles for the kids in the evening. Then their clothes are lighten up. Or here you can see color-changing materials. If the kids touch the textiles, the colors changes and the kids can play. And the colors also change if they go outside and the sun is shining on the textiles. Here in this fabric, I integrated LEDs into mohair fabric, and I worked together with a research center in Germany. And then I also developed my first sensor textile with capacitive sensors for kids so they can activate music and dance and have music with their clothes. The idea is to make really clothes for kids, not for the grown-ups to let the kids look nice. It's more about give kids the opportunity to play everywhere where they want and to develop these textiles. Yeah, it's German. Maybe you can't. So now to the field of electronics. After I graduated from university, I follow the development of electronic textiles. The hugest problem is to integrate the electronic components into textiles and to make it flexible and develop a way to integrate the capacitive tracks into textiles. So I developed a way to integrate the capacitive tracks into the textiles with a heat press transfer processing, and to make it more cheaper and easier to integrate them on every fabric. So you can use jersey, jeans, and every kind of fabric to integrate this capacitive tracks. A huge part of my work is the research of materials and techniques. So I'm always up to date, which is the newest material, if there are capacitive print colors who are washable. And I try to use materials who are common for textile processing and production. As an example, I can show you here, this is a silver thread developed from a German research institute for textiles. And they find a way how to integrate really tiny LEDs into this silver thread. So you can weave it into every material you like. And it's really tiny, so it's nearly invisible into this fabric. And I integrated this or combined it with some mohair fabric, so it's really invisible. In 2016, I've made a project together with another artist called Ilenia Gortana, and we developed outfits for a dance performance at Bauhaus Dessau. It's a really famous design academy and design community in Germany, known, I think they are started in the 20s. And the idea is to give the dancers the opportunity to control the music, so they don't have to dance after the music, they can control the music. So if they move and touch each other, then the music starts, and they are dancers, musicians, and performers in the same part. The interesting thing about integration of electronics into fabrics is that there are a lot of new possibilities and functions you can integrate into every material you like to. So you can start to communicate with your closest to other people, or lighten other people's clothing up, or you can also make music with it. So last year I developed this jacket you can see here on the stage together with an interaction designer called Hans Illinger from the same university I studied. The idea is to give artists on stage the opportunity to perform live with professional music software without standing next to their laptop. So they are much more free on stage. Because one thing of the digital age is that all the people are always watching in their electronic devices. And for me as a fashion designer, it's important that people start to communicate with each other per person. So I use all these technologies to give the people the power to communicate directly to each other. And yeah. No, sorry. Here you can see the interface of the software where the jacket is connected to. It's a professional producer and DJ software, and you can control it via the sensors you see on the jacket. There are 6 sensors on the jacket, and you can give them any control you like to give them. Playing some loops, playing some beat, or some melody, or giving an sound effect to it. It's also interesting for singers to sing on the stage and make some extra effects over the voice to perform it. Last year I worked together with a Dutch musician, and she's performing with the jacket and on stage at TEDx talk in Haarlem. It's really important for me to work together with musicians and producers, so to get a feedback to make the product better. If you like some more information of my work, you can visit my homepage, and I also have some flyers with me with my contacts, and you can ask me questions afterwards. So, but now this was all a little bit technical, and maybe it's better to see it live. So, Sandit gave us the opportunity to make a collaboration with a local musician, and I'd like to welcome you on stage. Maybe you can show the jacket.
Hi. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Sandeep for including me on this project, and of course Esther for designing this wonderful piece of technology. So yeah, my name is Anant. I'm a composer. I'm a sound designer. I make music for video games, for visual media, and I'm an electronic musician as well. I'm a producer. So I make music as an independent project and I perform it. So yeah, so what I plan today is I have a couple of tracks ready, which I'll be performing on the jacket. So I'll give you a basic rundown of what the jacket exactly does, like in practice, and then yeah, I'll get to the performance. This mic is check. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So this jacket has a bunch of sensors, and by pressing on the sensor, I can trigger drum samples. Let me show you. So yeah, I can trigger individual drum samples. One sec. So that is one drum hit. Uh, Now I can play an entire drum line on this. One sec. Yeah. I have a bunch of other samples also linked to this, like, for example, synths and keys, pianos, things like that. So I can show you something. So that's a manipulated vocal line. So yeah, that is how it works basically. So yeah, now let's get to the fun part. Yeah. So that's how this works. And I have one more song which I can perform for you. So give me a moment while I switch projects. Thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Let's welcome the questions, please. Any questions? Yeah.
Hello. Who do I have two questions? First of all, I would like to congratulate her for the amazing concept she's brought here. It's really creative and something I've seen for the first time. So congratulations. I'm here.
Thank you.
So yeah, I can visualize myself, probably tomorrow a DJ wearing something like this. It'll be really cool to watch a DJ performing, on the stage or. But how functional is it? I would want you to tell me how as a designer, I can make, this amazing piece reach the mass. How is it possible? Probably this needs some kind of modification so that the common people can use it. So what modification are required?
So it's possible to do modifications for it, but right now it's more for commercial use and to make performance for companies on stage and for artists and musicians. But I think it takes 2 more years to make it usable for the end customer. And then it's possible it's some combination between laser cutting and thermotransfer print, and it's possible to make it for everyone.
I'm sure you're going to do it because this is amazing. Thank you.
Any other question? Just a second.
Yeah, I would like to know how safe it is, because it's it's going to wear a lot of electronic things and other things. How safe it is?
It's safe, I think. So the worst thing which could happen is that's not working. So because the connection to the battery is lost.
Let me tell you, we did try for some of the things like one of the party kind of thing with the LED lights and other things.
The LED lights, do you mean?
Yeah, it didn't work out because it wasn't so safe. It wasn't safe,
Yeah, but
so
they are working on it. So these are 2 pieces. On the other one side you have the LED part, and on the other the sensor part. And the sensor part is much more safer, also for washing and things like this, than the LED part. But there are some German textile research institutes, and they're working on it. So you also can embroider it with an embroidery machine.
Okay. It's not going to touch the skin.
This is no problem.
There
you can't feel it. You also can touch the touch screen of your smartphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have another question here.
Hi.
Hi.
This is very nice concept actually, but is it washable?
Yes.
And can I put press on it?
What?
I can iron it or I can press it?
Yeah, it's a thermotransfer print processing. So I printed it with a transfer press with 160 degrees. So I think you can iron it.
Suppose somebody is wearing this and my colleague is in front of me. Can I hug wearing this one? Is it comfortable? Can I hug someone? Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wearing this, is it safe?
Yeah.
Is it safe?
But it's a prototype. You see, this is the only jacket I've made. It takes me something like 1.5 weeks.
So is it Bluetooth, right?
Yeah, it's Bluetooth.
So if I wear there, okay, if I'm going any function or I'm playing the DJ or I wear there, so I can't, I should be stay distance from people. If somebody will hug me or something, automatically play, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Great.
We have another question here. Oh, you're over. You don't want to ask? Are you going to again ask?
Hi, my name is Anu. It's a very fascinating concept. So basically, lighting and audio both come together at the same platform, and are the same trigger points used to trigger audio and lighting both, or is it separate? And one more question I wanted to ask you is that the product that you have used within the jacket, is it a third-party product, and what kind of technology does it use? Of course, it works with Bluetooth, and what kind of third-party product have you used to integrate it? Maybe with a touch panel, the phone, or with the laptop, or it could be any other wireless device?
Yeah, you can connect it to every other device. So in this case, I use an invisible Bluetooth connection.
Okay.
Which is invisible for every other device, so it can't be disturbed by your mobile. So because you need this really straight connection on stage, and it's for performance, but you also could connect it to a mobile app if you developed a mobile app. But
Okay.
I didn't do this by now.
Okay, and could you also throw some light on the distance or on the workability?
So I tried this, and then this connection works over, I think, 150 meters.
That's very good.
Yeah, but for normal, if you use it for the end customer and connect it to a smartphone, it's something like 10 meters, like your Bluetooth speakers, something like this. But this is another connection, then it's not invisible.
So the product per se, has it been developed by you, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So my part is to find connections to the hardware, to connect it to there's an Arduino in it, and a Bluetooth module, and a power bank. So this is something I also do. I can solder. And then I made some connection with snapshots, and I also developed the capacitive tracks and how to bring it onto the textiles, and I also developed the sensor and all the thing, and the software is doing by Hans Elliger.
Thank you. I think I have so many more questions.
Yeah.
I'll write to you separately.
Yeah.
But amazing job.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question. So, my question is, if a person is performing, like with the music, so we sweat, right? So, is it breathable? Like, what happens? What is the inside fabric, or what is it inside? Or like, since it's packed?
Inside there are right now is a textile which is silver coated, and I laser cut it with a laser cutter, and then bring it together with the thermotransfer foil, so it's isolated from the body, and then I glue it with the heat press on the fabric.
So, if a person is sweating, so does it absorb, or what does
Yeah,
it, what
this
happens?
is so in the performance with the Bauhaus and the dancers, we realized that there's a little problem if you sweat too much and the
Right.
textile is really wet. Then the sensors can be
Yes, the
connected
sensors might-
constantly, but you don't get any electricity on your body. It's
Okay.
something like 3 volt, and I think 40 milliampere. So you can't. There's no hurt.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Now let's welcome our last guest for the show today, Ms. Marte Henschel from Germany. She is garment production and supply chain maven with a broad network and 10 plus years of experience in the fashion and textile industries. Also, she is a founder and CEO at sourcebook.eu, speaker, lecturer and consultant with a focus on sustainable innovations. She will be discussing with us the future of garment sourcing and supply chain transparency in the digital age. Please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you very much, and namaste, everyone. So I have the big honor to close this very inspiring conference today. So what I actually find interesting and inspiring at this particular case, you might wonder how this can be scaled or commercially used, but just imagine how powerful this is when hard and software developers work together with textile engineers and fashion designers. So that could potentially get us out of this vicious circle of designing products that are, after a short lifespan, being disposed on a landfill. So creating value and adding value to the products we generate and produce is one of my fields of interest. So I want to talk about garment sourcing and supply chain transparency in the digital age, because I believe that technology needs to be used for good. And what we do at Sourcebook, I relate to that later, is bringing together tech people and people from the sustainability area and make them talking to each other, because I believe that the challenges are enormous and we have to collaborate to achieve fundamental transformation. And to start with that little talk, I would like to share a quote with you posted by the Things That Think program of MIT, and it's called, "In the past, shoes could stink, in the present, shoes can blink, and in the future, shoes will think." So we are at the stage of entering an era of truly intelligent products and services. And by intelligent, I don't mean gadgets that have LEDs embedded, which is nice. This is the stage we are right now. But I mean that we have innovations embedded in our clothing, because this is our everyday product that we wear in our daily life, that really provide holistic solutions. So imagine you've seen this jacket. Imagine you have clothing with that talk to your washing machine and tells your washing machine how much water and washing tannins are needed to wash this particular piece of clothing to make it long-lasting and to reduce the need of water, for example. So this is the area we work in. And since we believe and experience this, that collaboration is key to this, there are some interesting systems on the rise, and I feel that this is a beautiful momentum with enormous challenges, of course, but also with some impactful ideas and opportunities. When we talk about collaboration, we don't have to start from zero. We can, by collaborative consumption, for example, or open innovation or open source. I also don't want to dive too deep into these terms, but you can, if you open up your doors, you can also enter open source findings and further develop from other people's developments. That also means that we would have to stop the trade secret era that especially the textile industry, I feel, is still kept in. So we have to open up and share our knowledge, our resources, and our experience with others. And then there comes circular economy. We heard about that recently. So to really reduce the effort on resources and the consumption and the waste we generate, 45% pre-consumer waste is generated in textile production only, and really follow the cradle-to-cradle principle, where every single resource is recycled or biodegradable. We first have to track our supply chains. So actually, for most of the big players in that industry, it's not even possible to get to know where all the raw materials come from and where all the processes are happening. So there are a couple of beautiful tools developed and in place that one can use to really gain radical supply chain transparency, for example. And talking about digital disruption, there are a couple of very challenging topics that are that we have to take into account. We already mentioned circular systems, for example, not meaning to make one singular component of your product recyclable, for example, but create a holistic set of systems and services around that. And I mentioned collaborative environments, so building up systems where people from different disciplines and different industries can really collaborate, also in terms of IP and data security. So these are topics that we have to think about here. And one issue that we see recently seen growing in Europe especially is automated manufacturing that is speed up by machine learning and artificial intelligence. So there is measurable need for local production scenarios, for short runs, for low minimum order quantities, for production on demand, close to the consumer markets, and therefore there is a reshoring trend that small-scale production is shifting back to the local markets, especially in Europe and the US. So this is something we have to talk about and have to think about, and we can use it for good. So some of the tools that I would like to introduce also in a second are digital sourcing and matchmaking tools, product data management, product lifecycle management, and enterprise resource management, things that I'm sure are very familiar to you. And since we are running this sourcing platform with some 10,000 member businesses in our network, we are using and we are teaming up with some digital tools that I would like to share with you, and you are more than invited to look it up and use them for you. I'm a big fan of Le Souk, for example, which is a fabric sourcing marketplace. So that could potentially disrupt fabric fairs and ingredients fairs in the future, or be an assistant to those fairs, for example. So this is a curated fabric and additionals marketplace where you can find some of the best fabrics globally and manage ordering swatches and sample quantities and so on. Another big topic is blockchain technology, also in textiles, that you might have heard of. One great example here is a transparent company. They just won the CNA Foundation Global Change Award recently that honored this solution. So they work on supply chain transparency and supply chain mapping using blockchain technology. Another great example from UK is Provenance. It's an NGO that is also using blockchain technology for story authenticity. So they give end customers the chance by providing a unique code, a product DNA, to track the product history. Another wonderful tool that is highly recommended to use is a supply chain visualization tool brought in place by sourcemap.org. It's a track and trace tool where for B2B and B2C customers that visualize a product supply chain. So you can zoom in and actually visit every place that was part of processing and assembling the product. One very close partner of ours, which is highly recommended, is circular.fashion. It's a circular design platform. So you might wonder, we talked about the impact of design. So in a linear design process, the possibilities of creating a fully circular product or a highly sustainable product is very limited. So with this tool, which is a design configurator, you can just upload your design sheet and then get matched with according to your circular system. If you want to create a biodegradable or a fully recyclable product, for example, you get matched with material suppliers, with additional suppliers, but also with recyclers, with sorting and collecting companies to really make sure that this product have unlimited life cycles in the future. And then a circular fashion ID is generated, and the customer, but you also as a brand, can follow the product's life cycles, and the sorting companies and the recyclers can then see what the product is made of and design or find the best possible recycling and disassembling process for that particular product. Another wonderful resource that is highly recommended to you is WikiRate, a close partner of ours, which is an NGO as well, based in US and Germany both. And they are rating CSR reports that were published by companies and create dashboards and make them comparable and understandable also for the end consumer. So they developed a technology for rating a company's impact on society and also on environment. A resource that we always recommend is, this list is not complete, but just a shortcut of things that I would like to share with you. There are many more, but one resource that I find really valuable is Mistra Future Fashion, which is a large resource of guidelines, of checklists, of design tools that are free and open source to use for everyone, of reports and industry insights that help both brands and suppliers to foster sustainability and foster their sustainable practice. Another NGO that I really admire, because I think they do very, very impactful work, is Fibershed from the US. And they support local production collaboratives to distribute their products and their components on global scale. And what they do is they set up an affiliate program. So if you work in a certain region with certain fibers and cultural heritage techniques that need to be seen and that need to be distributed globally, you can set up your own room in Fibershed and distribute your products on global scale. Another great example that was a recent winner of the Fashion for Good Accelerator program in Amsterdam is Sustainable. It's a supply chain mapping tool, which is also incredibly easy to use. So what I'm sharing here with you is not rocket science, is not SAP ERP software that still looks like Windows 95 with columns and columns of data to manage. So you don't need time to learn these things. You don't need specialist tech people for using these tools. They are very much focused on usability, and they are effortless usable also for everyone, even if you're not that digital or tech savvy. So they are focused on supply chain transparency. So please be warmly invited to use that tool and map your supply chain to see actually what kind of impact you're generating with your professional practice. And of course, there is Sourcebook, which is a B2B network of more than 3,000 member businesses and an extended network of about 10,000 more businesses. And we are matching everyone along the entire textile value chain. But we're also incorporating experts from other disciplines, like soft and hardware developers, like Esther is one fantastic example. So if you want to collaborate with other parties, with other disciplines, that's a very good meeting point. You can publish an inquiry and get matched with people that provide the suiting facilities and expertise. So it's an industry network where you can set up your profile. It's free and open to use for everyone in the industry. and then according to your needs and requirements, you get matched with the best fitting people around the globe. It's also a marketplace. You can direct order and manage payments and delivery on the platform. And there is a supply chain engine about to be developed and released within the next weeks, which is a recommendation engine that puts together a complete supply chain scenario according to your design. So before you actually order anything and before you actually start prototyping, you see what kind of supply chain scenario generates what kind of impact. And you can double, for example, you can increase the level of sustainability without going too deep into that. We can also discuss that later on. And also according to lead times, target price, and also production location, you can set up your supply chain scenario at the stage of designing a product. And as mentioned, we also have an online magazine where we publish about 80 reports and articles and industry insights every month. So you're warmly invited to share your findings or your projects that are under development, and we would be more than happy to share, to publish, and to talk about your projects and your development cases. It's not only a digital platform. As I said, textile business is people business. We need to meet and talk and actually get to work together. And one thing that we have set up is the Fashion Sustain Conference during Berlin Fashion Week. The next one will be mid of January, which takes place after the Fashion Tech Conference. So as you can see, we always build a bridge between technology and sustainability. We don't see it as a contradiction. We really need to bring these segmented satellites closer together. So look up the program and join the conference. And we are also running an innovation showcase during Munich Fabric Start early September. And we are showcasing about 30 concepts at the intersection of technological innovation and sustainability. And so the next slide isn't appearing, but anyway, one particular event that I would love to invite you to is the Fashion Sustain Think Tank that we developed. It's a design challenge that takes place twice a year, where interdisciplinary teams and corporate companies collaborate and actually have 3 days in a high-speed design thinking format to develop holistic solutions to relevant challenges that we face. And before I talk about that too long, I just share this video with you. Do we have audio here?
Fashion Sustain Think-a-thon is an ideas challenge where key industry players pose relevant questions and multidisciplinary international teams have 2 days of design thinking workshop to find holistic solutions to these challenges in order to transform the fashion and textile industries.
Hence, closing material streams is an imperative to ensure the quality of life for the future generation on our planet. I think there is good chance that over these 2 days, a lot of smart and pragmatic solutions and ideas will be developed that help us to save life on Earth.
So if you have a challenge that you can't solve alone, or if you want to interact with people from other industries, we even have rocket scientists and philosophers in our teams, come to Berlin next January and work with us. Thank you very much.
Can we have the questions? Any questions? Okay then. Thank you, ma'am.
Just one small question. In your previous slide, you mentioned about the artificial intelligence. Could you throw some light on how is it being embraced in Europe or other parts of the world?
This is actually, AI is such a, as we call, bullshit bingo in the tech world. So everything is named under AI, even if it's just a smarter Excel chart. But no matter what, big data is a future topic. So when textiles and production and supply chains and management tools are generating more and more data because things become more complex and more global, we have to find ways to manage this data. And so I really see a huge potential for sustainability solutions using AI and machine learning.
So when I said AI, I meant robotics, maybe.
I mean, AI can be displayed in various fields. So it's just a tool, technology that can help using big data and to find solutions and results from that data. That can be then used in robotics, of course, but in textiles, it's used in production automation,
Right.
and supply chain management, from my perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. Do you have some case studies available about the problems you've solved through design thinking, what you were showing over here?
Yeah, I could share it later. I have it here on my computer. I can't share it in public, but I could share a shortcut with you.
Okay.
And also, if you look up the hashtag Fashion Sustain Thinkathon, you will find shortcuts of the solutions that were generated by the teams. But in terms of IP, the IP is held by the teams, and this is also, we protect the teams because they don't want to be run over by their corporate partners. So whenever they want to further develop that topics or that solutions, they always have to decide together. So the teams, the challenge shows they don't have the right to commercially use these solutions, but they can commercially use this or further develop these solutions together with the teams who are the IP holders. And that's why we are not publishing all of it in details publicly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Ms. Mati, for the wonderful presentation. Thank you, everybody, for coming. You can now enjoy the exhibition.